I'm so interested in how you have seen the unfolding over the last decade or two. Incremental growth is something that you talk about so much, having direct impact with direct targeted ads in many ways. But then you've got to think of how a company has got long-term vision, a North Star, as you put it. How are companies, small and large, managing to balance this right now?
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome to be here. I mean, look, incremental growth is about being incremental to what would have happened without you doing your actions. You need to be incremental to what would have happened. You need to see what the lift is of your work. That fits totally with thinking long-term and what is your North Star? What is the goal you want to achieve? That is absolutely a question of like, I have a goal. How do I incrementally lift that goal?
Your North Star was writing this book of late in many ways, as well as the day-to-day in which you're understanding the analytics underneath what's happening in terms of marketing for Meta and the growth story. Why did you put this out here into the world?
I mean, my North Star for the book is to be useful. Like, I want small businesses and large businesses to be able to actually be better at using the tools. Like, you go back, Ogilvy on Advertising, 1985, Bible, absolutely incredible book. But there are new channels that have evolved since then. Digital marketing is 75% of the global advertising industry. There's no book for that. I kept being asked for a book for that. So I wanted to produce a useful book to help people be good at that.
Alex, in the back part of the book on AI and its impact on marketing, you talk about an audience of one. The idea that the AI can make the ad so targeted to the individual. What are the risks with that? You're clearly needing a lot of data about that person to make that audience of one relevant ad.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, there are clear, now we've reached the point where there are clear laws out there are clear platform policies out there about purpose, use, limitation of data, and so it's very clear what you can use the data for. And people like personalized ads, so people have control over what data you can get. Young people really understand how to manage their algorithm, and they love the personalized ads that they get where there's something relevant that's actually useful for them. So I think the balance is actually in a way better place than it was, say, 10 years ago in terms of people's understanding of these things. So I think the risks are much, much lower, and I think the biggest risk is not taking advantage of it. You look where Europe is, you look at how they regret the current regulations, you look at the Draghi report, they are regretting the lack of growth they have versus the growth the US has, and I think one big part of that is they've hurt advertising.
The big picture with Meta has been that all of the work in AI has paid off for like the bread and butter core business. Can you give us any sort of insight into how much more valuable an AI-powered ad is, what the conversion on it is relative to traditional advertising, how it drives growth on the top line?
Yeah, I mean, you can step back completely. Our business has been completely transformed by AI. When TikTok came along, like 5 years ago, everything that you were looking at on Facebook and Instagram was connected content. You joined, you'd liked, you'd friended, you'd followed. Today, the majority of Instagram and Facebook are unconnected content, and you can see in our earnings results what the impact of AI allowing you to rank content based on semantic understanding of content and semantic understanding of the individual does for engagement. And then you see it too on the ads in terms of the revenue that's coming through and the results we're providing for advertisers. So it's very high double-digit percentage uplifts if you adopt things like Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, make sure you feed the data through with CAPI, and do the basics right, which I describe in this book, both with Meta, but also using anyone else's tools.
What about human creativity at this moment?
Yeah, one of my struggles is creativity is always about pixels. And look, I love my creative team. They're incredible. We closed Fifth Avenue. We had Lewis Hamilton do donuts on Fifth Avenue. It was amazing. Things were great. And it really, really worked. But there's a ton of creativity with data. There's a ton of creativity with targeting. There's a ton of creativity with conversion rate optimization and flow optimization. And what I get at in this book is creativity in the factors where it isn't David Ogilvy saying, stick a car to a billboard with superglue to sell superglue. It's creativity in how you use data to give people amazing, personalized experiences and high conversion rate flows.